Hi, everyone, and welcome to the Just Like You show. I am your host, Alexis Christine, and I am a spiritual mindset coach and Reiki master, helping women break through their limiting beliefs, rewire their brain, and manifest the life of their dreams. Just Like You is a podcast for all of the divine souls looking for guidance on their healing and ascension journey. We explore the depths of the universe, hold space for vulnerable conversations about spirituality and self-development, delve into the esoteric things like how to manifest, star seeds, the astral realm, and shed light on taboo topics such as plant medicine and so much more. I am honored that you are here to take this journey with me. I want everyone listening to be able to leave each episode feeling inspired and having learned something tangible to take away into their day-to-day life. If you feel called to work with me or explore this work deeper, please reach out at imalexischristine.com or you can DM me on Instagram at iam.alexischristine. Yo, what is up? Just Like You fam, welcome back to another episode. I am your host, Alexis Christine, and today we are doing a Q&A episode. I've had a lot of people asking me questions lately on Instagram, and I also popped up a question box to see what you guys were interested in knowing about me, because I feel like there's some people in the world who want to know things, but they're too scared to ask. So I feel like this is always just a good way to do things. And I also realized I have never done one of these episodes in all of my seasons of the podcast. So for those of you who only listen to this and don't follow me on any socials, y'all probably don't know me very well. So I thought it would be a fun thing to do today. But as per usual, oh my God, I just dropped something. But anyway, I want to pull a card for the collective. So let's see what we get today. Ooh, okay. So today's card is called Culmination, and the resources associated are hematite and the root chakra. The words associated with this, so things you can think of, are ascension, higher realms, and grounding. Oh my God, I literally feel like this is also a card just that I need right now because, I've gotten a message so many times from different people, from my spirit guides, all over, that your girl just needs to ground. So something that this card is saying is a reminder that the only way out is through. And it's basically saying that we're in a place right now where all of our hard work is reaching the climactic point. Like we're almost there. We're almost at what we've been working towards. And it means that we've put a lot of effort in, which has taken a toll either mentally or physically or emotionally, or maybe we've experienced some uncomfortable or fearful moments in the journey we're on, whatever that is for us. And it's just a reminder that, you have to also face your darkness in order to achieve the light. And again, the only way out is through. And basically just to remember to stay grounded within yourself, harness the energy of your root chakra, and try to do what you can to stay balanced. So whether that is literally going out and earthing and grounding, or whether that's meditation, whether that's journaling, whether that's spending time with loved ones where you don't have to feel like you're putting on a show, you can just be yourself. Whatever it is that makes you feel like you're coming back to yourself and grounded, remember to take that time for yourself. And then the reason why hematite is involved is because it's a highly protective stone that helps absorb and transform negative energies into positive energy and vibration. So if you're feeling like you've got a lot of that around you, you can use hematite in any of your practices, and it'll help keep you calm and grounded during stressful situations. So it's just a good thing to have around at this time. And the affirmation that you can use for this is, I am planted firmly in my root chakra, and I trust that the universe recognizes the culmination of my efforts. Okay, so without further ado, let's get into the questions. I'm going to start off with one that I feel like is actually kind of a fun one. And it is, what's been your favorite year in your 20s and why? This is actually really hard to answer because I'm turning 30 in like a month and a half. So I have to think about the last decade. And when I think of who I was at 20 versus who I am now as 29 turning 30, we're just two completely separate people. And I had some pretty fucking amazing times in my 20s. Oh my God, which year was my favorite? Okay, so I'm gonna go with 22 was probably one of my favorite years in my 20s because that was the year that I graduated university and I moved to London and I started doing all of these adventures. Like I had never been to Europe before and I moved to London not really knowing anyone, having some family who I'd never who I hadn't seen in like over 10 years. But I ended up making some amazing friends. I got a really cool job. I don't know. It was just, I feel like that was the turning point of my life where I turned into this independent traveler, adventurer. And that truly is, I think, where a lot of my journey actually started. Mentally, I had started in Toronto, but I think this was kind of the first step of really embodying all of it, if that makes sense. So that was definitely one of my favorite years. And then I would have to say, like, I don't know if I can just pick one. I want to be like child Alexis in my 20s favorite year and then like adult Alexis in my 20s favorite year. So 2022 would be like my child Alexis favorite year. And then if I had to go with an adult favorite year, I actually think 2021. How old was I in 2021? That was 2 years ago. I guess 27-ish. I would have turned, I guess, 27, 28 in that year, or 26, 27, because my birthday's early. But that was the year where my spiritual awakening truly just took over my entire life. And that was the year I found my soul family in London, and I had some really transformative, amazing experiences. That was the year I was introduced to plant medicine, and there was just a lot that happened that year. That year was freaking amazing. So I'm going to go with those two. Okay, the next question, I'm just going to answer it and just get it out of the way because it came up quite a few times in different ways. Am I single? Fancy a drink? Blah, blah, blah. So I am single, but I'm also not really looking at the moment. I am one of those people where, I mean, you guys can feel the same way or not. I don't really care. But I truly, truly believe deep down, and I have felt this way for a very long time, that when I meet the person I am supposed to be with, I will just know. Our souls will know, and like, that's it. And I felt this way for a very long time. And when I do meet people who I have a soul connection with, I feel it instantly. Like the last person that I was seeing, he was a soulmate in a way. He was a karmic connection. So that was something that had to play out. But I knew right away, like as soon as I met him, I was like, there's something here, like, you know, like something needs to happen. And so I have that deep belief. I'm also in the middle of my Saturn. Well, actually, no, it's ending in a month. My Saturn return is ending in like a month. But where Saturn is placed in my chart is all about relationships. And so I just basically took this year off of even looking or trying because I just knew that being in my Saturn return, it wasn't going to go well. But yeah, so I am single and I'm kind of just letting the universe bring me the person at the right time whenever both of us are ready. So single, but not really looking. Sorry, guys. Okay, there's a question here that I actually really like. It says, what led to your awakening? And I love this question because a lot of my podcast is topics that I'm only interested in because of my spiritual awakening and helping people on their ascension and awakening journey. And I don't know, I just love it. So I feel like this could actually be a whole episode on its own. But I really think what led to my spiritual awakening, or at least like allowed me to tiptoe into it, was this one relationship that I had had in university that was super toxic, super triggering, really fucked with my self-confidence when it ended. It was fine during, but then when it ended, it was just horrible. And basically was what started me into my weight loss journey, because previous to that, I was 214 pounds and I'm only 5'3", so, you know, quite large. And I did not realize at the time, but I was eating and drinking to repress my emotions. And that's why I was gaining so much weight. Like I had always kind of struggled with my weight. I looked like just a normal sized kid. But I would like fluctuate up and down 20 pounds, I would say, like all through high school. So I was either like thin or just like kind of normal, you know? And when I went to university, it just kind of imploded and I gained like 50 pounds. And so when I had this breakup and my confidence was shattered, he had made comments about like my appearance and that sort of thing, I went into that revenge body mindset where I was like, okay, you know, I'm going to work out. I'm going to get super fit. He's going to regret this, blah, 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 all those things. But what I found through that experience was working out actually allowed me a release for my emotions. And I had been a very kind of angry person. Like I obviously had moments where I was happy and laughing and playful, but 9 times out of 10, like you talk to me and say something and it'll just set me off because I took it the wrong way, or I was very quick to anger and explosive and people had to walk on eggshells around me. And I wasn't happy overall as a human. And as soon as I started exercising and working out, before I even realized what was happening, my friends and my sisters were coming to me and saying, "Oh my God, you're like a whole different person. Like, what's changed? What have you been doing? Like, there's the old Alexis and there's this new Alexis. Like, you're completely different." And then through my journey, like that happened in 2015. And then obviously, or no, maybe 2014. And then the next year I was like, I lost some weight. So my mental health was a little better, but I was still overweight. I kind of just like lost just enough where I could go to the gym, work out a little bit. And then like it wasn't really making a difference anymore, but it was still having those like mental, emotional effects, which was good. And then I moved to London and started losing weight naturally because I was walking everywhere. And that's when I kind of had some connections about my emotions that, you know, they were being released, but I still wasn't processing. So I was still having these kind of outbursts out of nowhere, not directed at people, but like random things would trigger me and I would start crying, or like I would cry over something and I would literally say, "I don't know why I'm crying right now. It's just happening." And like, you know, there's no logical reason for it, but I can't stop it. And so that was like, okay, there's something else here. So when I looked into how to process emotions, that's when I found all of the somatic healing and the breath work and the shadow work and the inner child work. And it all just kind of spiraled from there. And that's kind of how my awakening happened, just going through all of those self-development modalities. And I had a friend back home also who had tried to introduce me to yoga when I moved back from London. We did the 30-day yoga challenge together. So that kind of got me into the movement aspect of it, like separate from just working out at the gym, but really tuning into your body and your breathing and your drishti and, you know, all of those things that yoga encompasses, because it's mind, body, and spirit. It's not just physical. So it was kind of a snowball effect, and it happened over a few years. I wasn't one of those people that just woke up and all of a sudden had this massive awakening. Like it was a slow burn, but I would say it definitely all stemmed from that one super toxic relationship, which now I am so grateful for, because who the fuck knows where I would be. I was planning to like move to where he was and start a life with him and all this other bullshit. So like, it's crazy how different your life could be just based off of one decision. But yeah, so that's basically what led to it. Okay, the next question is kind of like a 3-part question. It's asking what Reiki is, what made me want to get my Reiki certification, and then what is actually in a session. Because I guess if they don't know what Reiki is, it makes sense that they wouldn't know what the session entails. So I'll try and go through it in like a very simplified manner so it's easier to understand. But Reiki is essentially some form of energy healing. I am indoctrinated by Dr. Usui Reiki. So that's the energy that I'm using. There's different types of Reiki, but I have learned and am certified in Usui Reiki. And essentially, all living beings generate an electromagnetic field. That is scientifically proven. Our human body is electrical in nature. There's electrical currents running through our body, running through our nerves, our blood cells, our organs. It's just one of the ways that our body regulates itself, and it's necessary for sustaining life. And so all living things on this planet have their own electromagnetic field. And so if you think about things like electrodiagrams or MRIs and that sort of thing, those are tools that have allowed us to see how each organ has an electromagnetic field. And based on the pulses and their frequencies and how fast they go and that sort of thing, it tells us whether or not our organs are healthy and whether it's not. So when you think about Reiki, it's basically working within a person's electromagnetic field, within an energy field, working with the chakras as well, the chakra system, to essentially clear any energy blockages. So anywhere where the energy might be stuck, or the frequency is a little off, or the chakras aren't moving, or they're a little dulled, or, you know, whatever else, clearing your full energy body, your full energy field, taking away anything that's not serving you, that's negative energy that's not yours, that sort of thing, and removing it. and kind of clearing it that way. So it's a form of energy healing, but working more with your energetic body. And it can actually help with physical ailments as well. So if you have like headaches, backaches, any digestion issues, that sort of thing, those can be fixed, because pain in the body, as we should all know by now by listening to my podcast, is essentially just stuck energy. A really good book to read if you want to learn more about this is one called The Body Keeps a Score, and it talks about how your energy, when it's not released or processed, so as I was saying before, like how I wasn't processing my emotions, it just gets stuck in your body and it can come out as physical ailments. So Reiki can help with that as well. And I'm trying to think of like another way to explain this. If for some, like for an example, if you're having a lot of trouble standing up for yourself or speaking your truth, or you're having a sore throat, or every time you try and say something to stand up for yourself, you start crying, like things like that, that's an indication that you have energy stuck in your throat chakra. And so doing some energy clearing through Reiki can help clear that away so you're better able to express yourself. If, for example, you are feeling like a dullness in your life, your creativity is kind of gone, you're having some digestion issues, that sort of thing, that can be found in your solar plexus chakra, which is kind of where your stomach is. So you can do some energy clearing there and like fix it and heal it that way. So that's kind of just an example of what Reiki is. I'm a Reiki master, so I am like the highest level cert you can get. I can teach people and attune them to become Reiki level 1, 2, and master themselves. And so I do that a lot with my clients. I'll do Reiki one-on-one, but I'll also do it if we're in the middle of a coaching session and I can just see that there's a lot of energy there that needs to be released that they're not being able to, we can turn it into a Reiki session instead. So what the sessions look like, which was part of the question, is essentially when you do a Reiki session with me, I'm not looking just to clear your energy. I want to also help you learn and identify what is going on. So I almost treat them as a mini coaching session. When we first get on the call or do it in person, whichever way it's happening, we'll talk about what's kind of going on for you, what you're feeling, what you've experienced, whatever's top of mind that's bringing you to wanting a Reiki session, because it's always important to come into sessions with an intention. So we'll go through that, kind of figure out what's happening. We'll set the intention, and then I'll take you through a guided meditation. And in that meditation, you'll speak to your spirit guides and your higher beings and, you know, kind of just get answers or clarity on whatever it is you need at that time. And while you're in there, I will perform the Reiki on you. And then once it's done, I'll take you back out and we'll have an integration session. So we'll talk about what I found with your chakras and, you know, where I balance things and things you can do to help keep it balanced. And then we'll also talk about what came up for you in that session. And so if there's something that came up that doesn't really make sense or you're kind of having trouble processing, we can talk about it and like kind of work through it and maybe help you understand it a little better or integrate it or things like that. So it's actually like a full encompassed, I guess, mini coaching session with Reiki. It's not just a Reiki session where you show up, you lay down, I do some Reiki and you leave. I try and allow it to be more of a beneficial experience for the person I'm working with. And then the last part of the question, what was it? How I was drawn to my certification? Where is it? What made you want to get your Reiki certification? Okay. So honestly, I wasn't super into Reiki for a long time. I remember going on a retreat in Barcelona with a bunch of people. It was like a fitness retreat, a fitness and calisthenics retreat. And there was a girl there who had just gotten her Reiki cert. And so she was doing some stuff on us just for like to practice, I guess, like some of us were interested. And I remember having the session and I couldn't feel anything. And I was kind of like, what the heck's going on? Like, should I not be feeling something happening? Like, you know, what's happening? And then when I spoke to her after, I was like, did you feel anything? Did you get anything? And she was just like, no, like, you're good. It's all good. And I was kind of like, okay, like, I feel like this is bullshit. But then when she did it on other people, she had like a lot of things to say to them. It was like, oh, I felt this, I felt that. And I was like, does that mean like I'm just like, it just didn't work on me? Or is she like making it up because, you know, she knows more about them and like can play off it? Like, I was so confused, but I was kind of like, I don't really understand this. Like, I don't get it. And then like jump forward a couple of years, I am getting my holistic coaching certification. And within that, we get attuned to Reiki level 1 and 2. And so I was like, okay, cool. Like, I don't need it, but it'll be fun to have. So I did my level 1 in it, and it was really weird after my level 1 attunement. So there's like basically a 30-day period after the attunement process when the Reiki energy is like given to you and you're given access to it, where your body's kind of like adjusting. And so it goes like a few days per chakra. And it was really weird. Like I didn't feel anything specifically in my different chakra areas, but all of a sudden I would just be sitting there like chilling, living life. And I would feel a wave of tingles start from my feet and work all the way up my body. And then it would be gone. And then like 30 seconds later, there would be another wave come. And then it would be gone. And then 30 seconds later, it would be another wave. And like this would last 10 minutes. And then it would be gone. And then like a few days later, it would happen again. And I was getting all of these like, just, I could feel the energy just like moving through my body. And I was like, yo, this is so trippy. And then I did my second, like my level 2. And that's when you're actually able to start doing it on people. So with level 1, you're able to do Reiki on yourself. With level 2 is when you can start doing it on other people. And so I got it, and I had a couple friends that were like, yo, do you want to practice on me? Like, I'd love to like try it out. And I was like, yeah, sure. Like I need to be doing this anyway. So why not? And so I did it. And it was the craziest thing. Like I closed my eyes and I started doing it. And all of a sudden I could see all the chakras aligned on their body. And I could see them spinning or not spinning in their color. And I could literally hear sounds. Like if a chakra wasn't spinning all the way, like it was kind of going halfway and it would stop, I heard like a clanking sound of it like hitting and having to restart. And like, it was just like the craziest thing I've ever seen in my life. I was just all of a sudden seeing into this other energy dimension. And so I'm like intuitively going and doing the things and like taking energy out and putting it in and like trying to, like have all the chakras spinning again and like, doing whatever. And then I take my friend out of the meditation and I tell her like, okay, this is what I did. This is what I felt. This is what I saw, whatever. And she was like in disbelief. She was like, oh my God, I could literally feel you doing something in this area. Like, and so when I said to her, like, these are the areas I worked on, and she said, yo, I physically felt it. That's when I was like, holy shit, there's something to this. Like, there's something happening here. Like, not only could I see it, but what I saw, she felt. So I wasn't making this shit up in my brain. Like, this was actually happening. And then I did it to another friend, and the same thing happened. And then I did it to my sister, and the same thing happened. And like, with one of them, I literally like, I could feel their energy go through my body. Like I was clearing one of the chakras, and all of a sudden for like 10 seconds, I had this wave of anxiety come through me and this feeling like I needed to cry. And then I visualized like releasing it from my body, and it was gone. And I was like their energy was literally moving through me as I was clearing it. And I was like, this is so crazy. And so I was like, okay, there's something here. Like I want to keep doing this. I want to keep practicing it. And then I had a past life regression with Kylie, who's actually on this podcast talking about human design. She's an amazing person. So you guys should go back and listen to that episode and just check her out. But she was talking to my spirit guides for me because the past life regression basically just turned into like a channeling session. And in one of my past lives, I was a healer on another planet, which I want to do some episodes on past lives. So I'll talk about those for sure. But I was a healer on this planet, and I was super, super powerful. And I was like part of this womanhood, this tribe, whatever. And I was their healer. And the things I was really connected to, like the ways I was healing, was through Reiki and through 2 specific crystals. And she was like, you need to tap more into that in this lifetime. You need to start utilizing those crystals and like harnessing that power back. And I was like, whoa, like I got chills all over my body. And I was like, not only have I just got my level 2 cert, but I was having like crazy experiences doing it on people. And now you're telling me that this is already in my soul DNA. Like this is shit that I used to do and be super powerful at. Like that's crazy. And so that's where I was really like, okay, I need to go deeper on this. Like we need to fucking do this. So I messaged the girl who did my holistic training and asked for a private Reiki master training. And I did it, and I got my certification. And now I do Reiki sessions on people. I do group Reiki sessions as well. And it's, I don't know, I love it. I'm so grateful for the fact that I found that holistic coaching course just by chance through a freaking Facebook ad, and it included Reiki level 1 and 2. Like my whole world has opened up, and I think my experience doing it and seeing and feeling and having the people I'm doing it on also feel what I'm doing, and then learning that like it was already part of me, I was like, okay, like we need to go get the full cert. Like we're here. This is it. So that's kind of what led me to it. Another question is what brings me to Costa Rica? So I'm not going to touch too much on this because the whole first episode of this season talks about it. But essentially, it was just divine timing from the universe. I was planning to actually move to Bali, and there were some things that came up on this side of the world in Central America where it was just looking like Bali really wasn't going to work. And so when one of the things that I got invited to ended up being in Costa Rica, I was like, okay, well, instead of moving somewhere else and then flying to Costa Rica for the retreat and then flying away to this other thing and then flying to this other thing, I might as well just go to Costa Rica early and stay there. And so it's guided me here. It was the universe putting things in my path to lead me to this place. And it has been the most magical experience of my entire life. I can't even describe the things that have happened here, the quantum jumps I have made, the way my brain has shifted, the people I have met. It has just been the most insane experience. So that's what brought me here, and I am hella grateful for it. Okay, the next question is actually really interesting because I've had a few people ask me this just in passing, or they'll DM me about this, but it's like, can I answer like questions intuitively? So, and what I mean by that is like people will message me and say, hey, I saw this so many times. Like, what does this mean? Or, hey, I had a dream about this. What does this mean? And while I can give you my perspective on it, I haven't yet reached the place where I can channel your guides for you and give you an answer on what it means. So someone asked me, like, can I intuitively answer questions? Unfortunately, at the moment, I can't. I would love to be able to. Like, I think that would be so sick to be able to tap into other people's guides, like the way Kylie did for me when we were doing the past life regression, and just I was able to like ask them questions. But unfortunately, I'm not quite there yet. The most I can do is like with my Reiki, like working with the different chakras. Sometimes I get little messages come through where I'll like see chakras and realign them that are out of alignment. And when I talk to you about it after, like something will click in your head and you'll be like, holy shit. But I haven't yet mastered where I can just channel source energy and channel your guides, unfortunately. Okay, next question is actually really interesting. I was like shocked when I read it, but it's what is your relationship with makeup, or your relationship story with makeup? And that's so interesting because I guess for me, like I don't generally wear makeup ever unless I'm going to an event. And when I say an event, I mean like a wedding or something like that. Or if I'm hosting an episode of a podcast and it's going to be recorded. But yeah, I don't really wear it. And I guess for me, it's just normal. I never really considered the fact that other people still wear makeup all the time. So I'm more than happy to talk about this because there definitely is a story behind it. When I was growing up, makeup was literally one of my favorite things. Like I was in grade 5 and 6 wearing like lavender and silver metallic mascaras, getting the Annabelle like powder eyeshadow pots that were metallic and like drawing them all over my eyes, doing the freaking raccoon eyeliner. Like, you know, I went full out. It was one of my favorite ways to express myself. And obviously throughout the years in high school and wherever else, like I just always wore makeup. I never went to school without wearing makeup, actually. So that was a thing. And then in university, it was pretty similar. I think I got to the point where I was smoking enough weed that I was too lazy to put on makeup at some point. So I think there were some classes where I would go and just like not really care if I was wearing makeup. But basically for the most part in my life, I was like a makeup wearing person. And when I moved home from London in 2017, I went off of birth control because I was like, I'm single. I'm not planning to date while I'm here because I know that I don't want to be here long term. So there's really no point in me being on this anymore. And so I just naturally felt an intuitive urge to come off. And when that happened, the fucking floodgates opened, okay? My entire face exploded. Literally exploded. I have never had so much acne in my entire life. And let me preface this with saying my skin was always perfect. I maybe got one pimple here or there around my period, but people were always commenting on how amazing my skin was, how clear my skin was, how good the texture of my skin was because I didn't have acne scars or anything. Like, that was just like a thing that I was known for. Like, I had really good skin. And I used to accredit it to the fact that I just drank a lot of water. Like, I'm not proud of this because of the plastic usage, but we used to buy cases and cases of water bottles because my family, like, there's 4 kids. We all played at least one sport. Some of us played 2 or 3 at a time. And so we just had these like massive things of water bottles because we were always on the go, always at practice, whatever else. And so I would drink like, I want to say 5 or 6 of those water bottles a day, like just naturally. And I was like, oh yeah, like my skin's so good because I drink so much water, blah, blah, blah. I still drink that water. I was still drinking that water when I went off birth control. And essentially what had happened was my body had stopped producing an entire hormone. So I worked with a naturopath. She's amazing. Dr. Lewis from One Elephant near Toronto, if you guys are interested. But she basically worked with me to rebalance my hormones, and she's the one that figured out that I wasn't producing one at all anymore. And so because my face was so bad, like I physically could not wear makeup. I was like, there is absolutely no fucking way I am putting makeup over top of this and making my skin even worse. So I remember going to my manager at work and being like I was so insecure about it. I was so self-conscious, and I was like, listen, like I don't want it to come off like I'm being unprofessional or that like I'm not caring or not trying when I come into the office, but with the way my skin is, I can't physically wear makeup right now. So like, I'm just going to stop. And honestly, like that thought shouldn't have even fucking crossed my mind. Like, why does wearing makeup mean that you're being professional and not wearing makeup to work mean that you're not? Like, what fucking beauty standard is that for women? But anyway, moving on. She was totally fine with it. So I just ended up not wearing makeup. And you guys, like, I'm not going to sugarcoat this. It took at least a year. I think it was a little over for my skin to finally calm down, for my body to naturally start reproducing that hormone, and for things to go back to normal. So that was an entire year of my life, essentially, where I just wasn't wearing makeup. I didn't go out as much. I was at the gym a lot. I was working out a lot, and I was basically going to work. So I didn't really go out to like things where I needed to wear makeup. And I don't know if I did that subconsciously or consciously. But essentially, because I'd gotten comfortable through that year not wearing makeup with all the acne, when it cleared up, I just had this natural confidence of like, well, I don't even fucking need this anymore. Like, I didn't use it when my skin was shit. And like, when you wear makeup, it's to cover up all the imperfections in your skin. And like, now my skin's good. So like, I'm good. I don't really need it. And so that's essentially how I just stopped wearing makeup. I will say though, one of my favorite things is lash extensions. Like, they're a pain in the ass to actually have because you have to be like so careful. You can't rub your eyes, like all this other shit. But the look of having like very natural, like I don't go heavy. Like, people will still think when I have them that my lashes are real. I just love them because my lashes are blonde. They're so light. So you literally can't see them unless I'm wearing mascara. And I fucking hate wearing mascara. It's like the bane of my existence. I hate having to take it off. I hate not being able to rub my eyes freely. I hate when it fucking dries and like sprinkles down onto your under eye and like you just have this like fucking raccoon look. Like, I hate it. So that's one thing. If I could just like actually have eyelashes that you could see, I think would be perfect. But I just can't be fucked to wear makeup every day just so that people can see them. But yeah, so that's basically my relationship with makeup. And now, you know what? I actually really love wearing makeup and getting to do my face because I don't wear it so often that when I do, it's like a fun little treat and I get to experiment and I get to play and I get to like doll myself up and try these different eyeshadow colors and like just give myself a new version to play with for that night. But then I will say at the end of the night, I'm always pissed. I have to take off my makeup. I can't just like rinse my face and go to bed. But yeah, so that is basically my relationship with makeup. And now one of the reasons also why I'm so hesitant to wear it often is because I'm so much more aware of all the chemicals and shit in makeup and in things, even like lotions and creams that we put on our body that are not good for us, that are just pure chemicals or like fucking with our hormone levels and that sort of thing, that I'm almost like, I just like don't need it. And if I'm surrounding myself with people who don't make me feel like I need it, then I know I'm in a good place. Does that make sense? So I think if you're struggling like with not wanting to wear makeup but feeling like you have to, maybe also look around with the people that you're hanging out with or the environments you're putting yourself in, because if they're making you feel like you're not able to not wear makeup, like you won't be good enough or pretty enough or, whatever, because you're not wearing it, then maybe it's time to change your crowd a little. Because in London, like no matter who I was friends with, like no one ever made me feel a certain way because I didn't wear makeup. And like now being in Costa Rica, like a lot of people here actually don't wear makeup because your face sweats 24/7, and like it's just normal to chill and, be your natural self, which is great. I fucking love it. I love it here so much. But yeah, so that is my story of my relationship with makeup. I still love it. I still think it's so fun to be girly, but you can be girly in other ways without having to put all that on your face on a regular basis. Okay, and the final question is, what does rewiring your brain mean? And it's funny because I used to use the word neural reprogramming, and I was like, people might get confused by that. So I'll just say rewiring your brain, thinking that was a more like common phrase, but I guess it's just the niche that I'm in, and like the people that I surround myself with, like they're the ones that know it. And I guess to people who aren't in that world, then rewiring your brain still sounds fucking crazy. So let's fucking talk about it. Essentially, our brain has the ability to create new memories, and that's all rewiring your brain is. So, let me think of like a very simple way to explain this. Your brain doesn't know what is true and what is not. So if you think about a situation where you're worrying about the future, and let's just say, because it's probably going to be like the most relatable, you have a partner, boyfriend, girlfriend, whoever it is, and they're not answering your text messages. They haven't messaged you for hours. They're not answering their calls, and you're like worried that they're out cheating on you or something bad has happened to them or whatever it is. And then you start feeling all of this anxiety, and you start crying, and you start freaking out, or you're calling your friends, and like you're having this reaction because you're creating this story in your mind, in your brain. You're assuming that the worst, whatever the worst is in your brain, has now happened, and you're getting worked up about it. You're generating real emotions because of it. Because when you're thinking this in your brain doesn't know what's real and what's not. This is a made up story that you're just like assuming in your head, and it's reacting because it thinks it's real, right? So when you're rewiring your brain, what you're doing is you're taking memories, things from your past, traumas, experiences that gave you a limiting belief, people like teasing you that put not comforting and like not empowering thoughts in your brain, like making you feel like shit, making you think you're not good enough, all these different things that are there, and you're reimagining them. You're building new neural pathways in your brain to allow your brain to remember it in a way that was not traumatic to you. So if we think about this, for example, there's so many people who are scared of public speaking. It's like, I don't know why. We're all just so scared of it for some reason. Like you stand in front of a crowd, all the attention's on you, there's people everywhere, and like you're scared you're going to fuck up, right? That fear probably came because when you were a kid or somewhere in your life, even maybe as a teenager in high school or wherever it was, you were the center of attention doing something using your voice, and it did not go well. So either people laughed at you, or you may have like said the wrong word, or if you were singing, like kind of like your voice cracked, or you forgot the lyrics, or whatever it was, like something happened. Or if you were in class and you answered a question and it was wrong and the teacher scolded you for it, like things like that are imprinted in your brain, and they're telling your brain that it's no longer safe. So then you think about in the future, okay, like I want to go public speak, your brain's going to be like, no, this isn't safe. You can't do this. The last time that this happened, we felt this way, and feeling this way wasn't good. So now I'm going to try and keep you safe, and I'm going to prevent you from making the same mistake again or doing the same thing again that will result in us becoming unsafe. And so you can get physical symptoms of like anxiety, your hands sweating, people get like the nervous shits, or they feel nauseous, or like whatever it is, because your body, your brain is sending signals to your body trying to tell you like, we can't do this, and it's doing anything it can to stop you. But like there's no harm. There's nothing that's going to harm you in public speaking. I'm public speaking right now. Technically, like I'm alone recording this podcast, but it's going out to so many people. Like there's nothing unsafe about it. When I'm at a retreat or I'm talking to a group of people and I'm like bringing a group through a Reiki meditation, there's nothing harming me. It's public speaking. I'm speaking in front of a crowd. Maybe I'll fuck up a word here or there, like who knows? But there's nothing that's actually dangerous to me. So when you're neural reprogramming, you're creating this new neural pathway in your brain that's coming from the memory that originally created this belief that public speaking is not safe. And you're reimagining it in a way, you're kind of overriding the one neural pathway that's there with a new one, telling your brain, actually, no, this is safe for me to do. I can do this. And then when you go to public speak in the future, you're actually going to be confident in doing it. You're no longer going to be scared. You're going to feel safe. Your brain's going to be like, okay, we can do this. Like, this is a safe thing for us to do. And then your fear of public speaking is gone. And the more that you do the neural reprogramming meditations and work through this, and the more you do your shadow work and your inner child work and work through your triggers, figure out where they actually stem from and are able to rewire it. So, and you're able to recreate these memories and create new neural pathways that are more aligned to you, more comforting to you, and more empowering to you, you're going to be able to achieve so much more in your life because you're not going to be able to have all of these limiting beliefs in your head saying you can't do that. And you're not going to have your brain trying to stop you at every turn. And just the things that you can achieve, the growth that you can have, it's literally life-changing. So that's essentially what rewiring your brain is. If you guys do want to learn a little bit more about this, like in a more one-on-one, hands-on kind of way, I do offer a package called Making Waves. And what it is, it's a one deep dive package. So we will sit there for an hour-ish on Zoom or in person, depending where you are, and go through a list of questions, figure out where your triggers are, where they stemmed from, and just it's basically like a very, very deep dive and uncovering all of these things. And then the second session will be a custom neural reprogramming meditation for you. And then you get to take that meditation with you and do it consistently until you feel that it's been reprogrammed and you're no longer experiencing that limiting belief or that traumatic response mechanism or whatever it is. So yeah, that's what neural reprogramming is. It's literally the most transformative, magical thing ever. I highly recommend all of you look into it. If you want a more scientific-based answer on this, I would recommend looking up Dr. Joe Dispenza. He has a bunch of books. You can look at him on YouTube and look at some of his talks. He explains the science behind how it actually works. I don't want to get that deep on this podcast because I feel like if you don't know what rewiring your brain is, you're not going to know a lot of the scientific words used to explain it also. So that's kind of just like a very simplified, high-level explanation. But if you want to dig deeper, like if this is really interesting to you, definitely look up Joe Dispenza. Okay, guys, that was the last question. I hope that you enjoyed this episode. I actually thought it was really fun. Like some of those questions just kind of came out of nowhere. I wasn't expecting them. So kudos to those of you on Instagram who asked them because you made me think about it. It was nice. If you guys have any other questions that you want answered or are just curious about, feel free to DM me on Instagram. Maybe I'll do another episode if I'm getting a lot of them. You can find me at iam.alexischristine. That's for Instagram and TikTok, but I don't know if TikTok has rolled out the DM feature for everyone yet. So it might be safer just to do it on Instagram. So that is all from me today. As always, guys, if you are enjoying the podcast, please give us a review. Please give us a rating. Share us with a friend. As always, I am just trying to help as many people on this healing journey as possible, and I really appreciate all of the love and support you guys have given me so far. I hope you guys have an amazing rest of your day, rest of your week, and I hope that you got something informational and enjoyable out of this episode. The light in me acknowledges the light in each and every one of you, coming from someone just like you.